Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. Today I'm going to be doing episode 13 of I Build Your Teams, the series where I build teams submitted to me on Twitter by my followers into the best teams possible for competitive play and or unlimited play in NBA 2K21 MyTeam based on the amount of MT that they have and the gen of the game that they play on. So, with that being said, if you want to be involved in a future episode of this video, make sure you go follow me on Twitter. My link is always down in the description below in every video. And be on the lookout for a tweet about this series every Friday night, because I tweet about when I'm doing this series every Friday night to get teams to record using in this team. So, that being said, one other thing, if you haven't, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We hit 1,500 subscribers a couple of days ago, and I really appreciate all the recent support on the videos. Trying to grind slowly but surely towards 2,000 now, and I would really appreciate your support if you subscribe if you haven't already. But without further ado, let's hop right into it, take a look at some teams. So, first team comes in from my guy, Fryan. He's got 80 KMT on current gen. Every card's badge with a shoe, but the spotlights, okay, I like it. The thing for me, if you have 80 KMT, and actually the first thing for me is you need to buy a better camera, but I don't know. It says Twitter for iPhone, so I don't know. It might just be an iPhone 6, but I don't know, my boy. But that's beside the point. I'm trolling. But so I look at this team, and I like your 4s a lot. I like your 3s a lot. I think honestly your 3 through 5 is really, really good. Christian Wood is basically Bill Russell Jr. Kristaps and Bol Bol are basically the same card. Kristaps is just a slightly better version. So I think personally I would probably switch Bol Bol to center and Christian Wood to power forward on this team specifically. But I think it's really up to you how you want to run that. And then I think Ferry and Worthy are great at the small forward position. Your point guards are really solid as well. Jay Butler and Calbert Chaney is solid as well. I don't think you have any huge holes on this team. That being said, if I was going to look to upgrade this team with 80 KMT, the first thing that I would do is I would start Josh Smith at point guard. I'd probably sell Magic Johnson and pick up Nick Batum. I know that Nick Batum he's a pink diamond, I know, but I think he's legitimately as good or better than Magic Johnson. He's got Hall of Fame steady, which on current gen isn't a plus, but it doesn't seem to hurt him. His release is very easy to green, and I find it very consistent. It's faster than Magic's, and I feel like he's a better defender than Magic, and they have the same dribble moves. So if you could sell Magic and find yourself a Nick Batum with Hall of Fame Showtime, that you can pick him up definitely for cheaper than Magic, and I think he's a better card. That would also give you some more MT that you could use in terms of flexibility to potentially pick up a guy like Dr. J at the shooting guard position, or honestly just save your MT for future content, because I don't think you need to upgrade any other positions on this team, and I really, really like this team as a whole. Next team today comes in from my guy Josh. He's on current gen, is 2.4 mil. He's looking to pick up Giannis, and he's under a mil. So he's looking to pick up Giannis is under a mil. I don't know how soon that's going to be in all honesty, because I don't really know how much Giannis is going for right now. In fact, I got my Xbox right here, so I'm just going to check real quick and see how much Giannis is going for right now on Xbox. I know he's on PlayStation, but looks like he's going for a little bit over 1.1K, 1.2K, or 1.2 mil, I'm sorry. So if it's me personally, I'm just going to assume that you picked up Giannis, because I would just pick him up. I don't expect his price to drop all that much, but it might drop a little bit over the next week. We'll see. So Giannis definitely replaces DeMarcus Cousins, in my opinion. I think Josh Smith is better than DeMarcus Cousins. Cousins isn't a bad card, but I would definitely sell him and pick up Giannis. Otherwise, I think your 3s are good, your 4s are good, your 5s are good. Your 2s are good as well. There's not anything that needs to be upgraded on this team, but if I was going to upgrade a couple things, one thing I would consider doing with the amount of MT you have is selling Josh Smith and picking up Ben Simmons as well, so you have the 2 best point guards in the game, Giannis and Ben Simmons, if you want to. If you don't want to do that, it's totally fine. Josh Smith can definitely compete against Ben Simmons and Giannis. Like, he's an elite point guard for sure. At the shooting guard position, I might consider looking to find a spot for Jimmy Butler. I know these 2 cards are free and they're rewards, and they're very, very solid cards, but I think Paul George is the best shooting guard in the game right now. He's better than both of them, but again, I don't think that's necessary. It's more so if you want to find an upgrade there. And then another thing you could look to do is sell Thon Maker, start Danny Ferry at shoot at small forward, move James Worthy to backup small forward, move Bol Bol to backup power forward, and look to pick up a guy like Dikembe Mutombo at center. So there's a couple options that you could do that I think would improve this team, but I don't really think any of them are necessary besides picking up Giannis for DeMarcus Cousins. And I really, really like this team. I like to give a lot of MT as well, a lot of flexibility to work with this squad. Next team comes in from Next team today comes in from my guy Clax. Has 300K on current gen. Lives to Bird and D-Bach, 300 rim runs. Brad Stevens for coach. Okay, I don't really think the coach matters too much. But looking at this team, you got a lot of spotlight cards, but I don't see any of the spotlight dark matters. That's the first thing that jumps out at me. I think if you're gonna play spotlights, you might as well go get yourself a Jimmy Butler and a James Worthy. Even if you're not gonna get Bill Russell, I would recommend trying to get Bill Russell as well. But go get yourself a Jimmy Butler and James Worthy. Jimmy Butler can replace either one of these two guys as shooting guard, and then I would put James Worthy right here to replace Vlade Divac and sell Vlade. I would also sell Larry Bird. I know he's a good card, but I would sell both of them. And I would look to make my point guards Josh Smith and Nick Batum, because I just think Josh Smith and Nick Batum are those dudes. Like, for their price, they are so elite on both ends of the court. The next thing I would look to do is, I'm assuming you're going to have Jimmy Butler in here for one of these two spots. Maybe put Jimmy here and sell Jaylen Brown as well. So that makes you a little bit more MT. And I think if you do those three things, you're going to be sitting still around 300k MT would be my guess. At that point, you have Josh Smith, Nick Batum, Jimmy Butler, Calbert Cheaney, James Worthy, Mikal Bridges. So I think at that point your 1 through 3 is very solid at that point. I don't think you really need to upgrade anything. Then we got Bam Adebayo and Bol Bol, who are both very usable. Glenn Robinson and Karl Malone, I don't like quite as much. I definitely would look to probably upgrade them, and I'm kind of ignoring your last 3. So with that being said, if with 300k MT looking to probably get a power forward in the center, I would look to get Christian Wood because he's free and he's really good. Basically a mini Bill Russell. I would consider potentially going for Bill Russell at one point as well to play a power forward position. But for the time being, I think Bam would be fine as a backup power forward. If you do get Bill Russell, go Bill Russell and Christian Wood. And then at the center position, you'll still have about 300k MT. And I would look to pick up a guy like James Wiseman because he's not super expensive and he's a very good center option. You could also go get a guy like Kristaps Porzingis, but he's a lot more expensive than James Wiseman. So I think going the James Wiseman route would definitely help upgrade this team, and having Wiseman and Bol Bol as your centers. At that point, you're probably looking at close to 200k MT, and then you could look to upgrade further at different positions. Look to pick up a better small forward than Mikal Bridges, somebody like I'm kind of drawing a brain fart honestly on terms of who are the top slightly cheaper small forwards right now, but I don't know, maybe a Thon Maker type guy if you wanted to pick up somebody like that. I don't think there's a ton of people to honestly pick up, in all honesty. Like, I like this team a lot, but I don't think you really need to. With that 200k MT, I'm not sure there's a lot of ways that you're going to upgrade that team at that point. So but that would give you a team, just to recap, of Josh Smith, Jimmy Butler, James Worthy, Christian Wood, James Wiseman, Nick Batum, Calbert Cheaney, Mikal Bridges, Bam Adebayo, and Bol Bol with probably 200k MT, and that's probably the way that I would look to go for right now. Next team today comes in from my guy Anthony. He has 200k, plays on next gen. This looks like current gen, but I guess we'll just say you play on both, or you took the screenshot on current. But looking at this team immediately, even on next gen, I think the first place that I'm going to look to go immediately is just sell Shaq, Anthony Davis, Giannis. I think all three of them kind of need to go. Move Kristaps to the starting center position, so him, and then your starting lineup is really beautiful at that point. You can sell all three of those cards, make yourself a solid 500k or so MT. I don't really know exactly how much you'll make, but I'd say around 500k. So you're looking at more like a 700k budget, and then you have Wiseman at the 5. Bol Bol at the 4, Bill Russell here, Kristaps there, and I think you have a lot more MT flexibility and still just as good of a squad. Then with 700k, I think at this point you would probably look to sell Grant Hill and pick up either Josh Smith or Nick Batum. Honestly, on next gen, I would go Nick Batum because he has Hall of Fame steady, Hall of Fame blinders. So I would definitely sell Grant Hill and pick up Batum. He's a lot cheaper. That'll make you a lot more MT as well. So you're sitting at like 800k MT at that point with a better squad. And then I don't know, if you prefer Vince over Jimmy Butler, that's fine. I probably would prefer Jimmy Butler, but I'm not going to tell you not to. So I think that at that point, you might just hold on to your MT because you don't have enough MT to get a guy like Giannis. And I think every other position in your squad is super solid. Like, I don't think anything else needs to be changed. But yeah, I would just basically keep the same starting lineup with Kristaps here, and then Nick Batum, Vince or Jamie, Danny Ferry, Bol Bol, and James Wiseman as your 10-man rotation. Next squad today comes in from Aidan. He's got 20k MT. Amari's out once he gets Christian Wood tomorrow, which I like the sound of that. Christian Wood's a very good card. With 20k MT in this team, I would sell Larry Bird and pick up Nick Batum because he's cheaper and better. Nick Batum and Ginobili can be just fine as your point guards for now. I would also, you have James Worthy. I would finish Jimmy Butler as well. Get Jimmy Butler slid in here, and then you can play Wilkins or Cooper as your backup small forward or backup shooting guard, which is definitely an upgrade. I think if you do those two things, Batum and Jimmy here, and then you can have Manu and Wilkins, for example, off the bench. Worthy and Steven Jackson is okay. Make sure your Steven Jackson has showtime though. Bam Adebayo and Rocco is solid, and then we'll have, I guess, Christian Wood and Eddie Curry is kind of what you're saying. Oh, he says he's running Larry over Batum because he's one of your favorite players. I like well, I guess that's fine. Just keep that's okay. That's fine. Just keep Larry then. So, but with 20k MT, I don't think you have enough MT to really make a big change in the squad. I would definitely consider playing some other game modes. Don't buy packs. Just try to build up some MT, maybe potentially snipe some low-level cards, stuff like that, to try to build up a little bit more MT. But I definitely would try to get Jimmy Butler and then slot Christian Wood in here as well. I think if you get those two cards, you're definitely upgrading two positions on your team that could use an upgrade. And otherwise, I think for right now, just save your MT, don't open packs, and try to continue to build MT for your squad. Next team today comes in for, oh, and one other thing you could do. Pick up Tjayerrday. Tjayerrday is a free card from Unlimited this weekend. I would definitely recommend trying to go out and get him as well to play your shooting guard position. You get Jimmy Butler and Tjayerrday as your shooting guards. I think that's a really, really good upgrade for this team. Next team today comes in from Pistons Get Better, but Pistons Better Get Cade. I'm sorry. I hope Cade Cunningham. I don't know where I want him to go, but we'll definitely probably do a mock draft at some point. But next gen, he has 720k MT to spend, and Rudy's going to be replaced with Bill Russell within the next week. So cool. So I'm just going to treat it as if you have Bill Russell then instead of Rudy Gay. And with 720k, I don't honestly know how good this Larry Bird card is on next gen, but I assume he's better than he is on current. I think Nick Batum is better than Magic on next gen. I would probably go get Nick Batum instead of Magic Johnson to save GNT, and he's a better card. It's more closer to have like 850k. I don't know at that point. Then I would look to upgrade your 2. I think mine is a little bit small for the 2. I would much prefer to see a guy like Paul George at the 2 with 720k. Put him at the 2 with Ray Allen, and that's 2 elite shooting guards at that point. Batum and Bird on next gen as your point guards is really solid as well. Worthy and Isaac is good. Bill and Wiseman is great. Kristaps and Bol is awesome. Like, I don't think your 3 through 5 needs a lot of changes. But at that point, that's probably all I would look to do right now. I might consider picking up Thon Maker for Jonathan Isaac as well. But that's about it, really. Paul George, Thon Maker, you can find slots for them in this lineup and then sell Nick Batum and get or sell Magic Johnson and get Nick Batum. I think those are really the only upgrades that I would look to make for this team. Next squad comes in from my guy IP. He's got 330k with Dark Matter and Magic selling on current, so he's got close to, I'll say 450k to be safe. I don't know how much Magic's selling for exactly right now, but we'll say 450k to be safe. Bill Russell and Christian Wood, they're the same card. Christian Wood's just not quite as good. Wiseman and Bol is fine. I would switch these two probably, just because I think Wood's better to power forward, but I don't think it matters that much. Jimmy and Vince is super fine. James Worthy and Danny Ferry, again, super fine. And the 2 best point guards, in my opinion, for a budget player. With 450k and this squad, there's a part of me that kind of just says hold on to your MT. Or sell Bol, pick up Kristaps. Or even sell Wiseman, pick up Kristaps. Like, sell one of those two potentially, whoever you prefer, whoever you don't prefer. I assume since you have Bol on your bench, you don't like him quite as much, so maybe sell Bol, pick up Kristaps, go Bill, Kristaps, Christian Wood, Wiseman as your team at the 4 and 5. But I don't think you really need to make any huge upgrades. You could get Ben Simmons maybe. I think he's right at the edge of your price range after you sell Magic, and you could sell Batum, for example, and pick up Ben Simmons and have like one of those top 2 point guards in the game. But I don't think that's a necessity. Like, I really think you have a lot of flexibility, and you could just save your MT. Like, the only upgrade that I probably would make if I was you is probably replacing either Bol or Wiseman with Kristaps, because I think Kristaps is the best big in the game right now. But yeah, that's pretty much all I would do with this team. I really like this squad. I think it's super solid. Great job of maximizing your MT and having a really solid squad. Next team comes in today from Ramos. He's got 2.9 mil with no money spent with this team. God damn, if you really no money spent, credit to you, bro. That's good stuff. But Ben and Grant, Jimmy, KD, Vaughn and James, KP, Bill, AD, Wiseman. Okay. I would, if you're no money spent, you're probably not looking to spend all your MT. So move Kristaps to the 5, sell AD, move Bill Russell to the 4, put Christian Wood right here as your backup. He's cheaper. He'll save you MT. You'll be over 3 mil easily. After selling MT, after selling AD, you'll be close to probably 3.2 mil. And then I know you're nobody's fence. You're probably not gonna live this down with it, but maybe later this week, go get yourself a Giannis Antetokounmpo and sell Grant Hill. I know Giannis is expensive, but I think if you pick up Giannis, but you sell Grant and AD, and you also have Christian Wood, you're still gonna have 2 mil MT. You could do that and still have 2 million MT on this team. Then I might sell KD and look to pick up Paul George. And I think those are the only 3 upgrades that I would make. So at some point this week, I would definitely look to get Giannis and Ben Simmons as your point guards. Paul George, Jimmy Butler, Don, James Worthy, Bill Russell, Christian Wood, Kristaps, Wiseman. That's the team that I would build. Then the final team of today's video comes in from Diego. He's got 1.5 mil with Grant selling. On current, he plays using, sorry, I couldn't figure that out, Hawks 2018 doing pick and rolls, and this is the squad he's got with 1.5 mil. So at this point in the year with 1.5 mil, I think you got a solid amount of MT, very flexible, a lot of flexibility. You have the 4s and 5s. I would probably start KP and put Wiseman off the bench, but if you prefer Wiseman, nothing wrong with that. I like the 4s and 5s. I like the 3s. I like the 2s. I don't think there's anything you need to change. If you prefer Vince Carter, Jimmy Butler, run Vince Carter. I prefer Jimmy Butler, but that is your decision. So honestly, your 2s through 5s, I wouldn't change a thing. The one upgrade that I would probably make is I would probably sell Magic Johnson and pick up Ben Simmons. I think you have the MT to definitely go out and do that. You don't have to pick up Giannis. I know he's crazy expensive. And I think you probably want to save a lot of your MT, but I would sell Magic and go get Ben Simmons. I do think you'll notice a difference by making that upgrade. Otherwise, I really like this team. I think you've got an absolutely awesome squad. But that is going to do it for this video. If you did enjoy, please make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, let me know what you thought of the video. Make sure you go follow me on Twitter for a chance to be included in future I Build Your Teams videos, and be on the lookout for a tweet on Friday nights about this series. Also, if you haven't, make sure you hit that subscribe button again to help me slowly push towards that 2,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I really appreciate all the recent support, and I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.